Should you be required to program in a force modifier, go into Products and down to Force Questions. Now this is basically where you program in the questions that will prompt the user to select one of the answers when you order an item. Located on the left-hand side, we have a list of all the possible answers you can choose from. In this case, I have a question that says, add cheese. This is the name of the question. And the question itself that would be asked of the server would be, would you like additional cheese? With that being done, this is the list of selections they can choose from, such as the American cheese, pepper jack, and so on. Located over on the right-hand side, we have number of choices the user may select. Now, this indicates how many of these answers can the user select. Now, in this case, it's set to 1, which means they only choose one of these cheese selections. You can set this to any number, so it could be 2, in which case they can choose any 2, any 3. You can go as many as you wish. Minimum number of answers. Now, what this indicates is what is the minimum number that the system will accept. Now, in this case, it's set to 1, which means you must choose one of these answers. If this was set to 0, then you could choose none of the answers. Or if it was set to 2, and this was set to 2 or greater, then you would have to choose at least 2 answers. Number of mod price choices. Now, this has to do with the modify price in product setup. Within this, you can determine how many of these selections, if you are using multiple ones, do you want to use the modify price versus the regular price. Now, in this is really good for situations where you may have, for example, like a pizza, and I may have all of these different pizza toppings in here, and I may charge maybe $1 for each topping. But if I put, let's say, in here a 3, and the modify price within those toppings is set to 0, then that means that the first 3 items that I choose, regardless of what they are in there, will use the modify price, which would be 0, in which case the first 3 toppings would be free, and then you would pay regular price for all subsequent toppings. The next one is maximum allowable splits. This is really good actually for a pizza environment as well, because in this I can actually split this question into multiple questions. So for example, I want to split the toppings. Instead of being just everything on 1, I may want to do a half and half, in which case then I could put within here a 2. Now what will happen is that a split button will show up in the force question, and on this it will then allow me to choose the first half toppings and the second half toppings. There's no limit to the number of splits you can apply, so theoretically if you wanted, you could have a pizza in which every slice has a different topping. Allow multiple. All right, let's think pizzas again since we're on the topic. I want pepperoni, and then give me pepperoni, and then put some pepperoni on top of that. So what you can do is you can choose the same item multiple times. Use buttons. There are several different ways that you can have force questions show up on the PixelPoint system. If I unselect Use buttons, then I will have a long list of all of the different toppings. Now this is really good for situations where you have all kinds of different selections to choose from, in which case then a long list would be more suitable for that. By default, the system will show in a button format, in which case all of these different selections will have their own button. Substitute. One of the function buttons that you can program onto a PixelPoint system is a substitute. So what you can do is you can go back to an item that already was asked, select on substitute, and that force question will be regenerated again, allowing you to choose something different. So for example, instead of French fries, I want to substitute onion rings. You can do that using the substitute function button, so long as the question has this checked on it. And then down here at the bottom we have automatic OK. This is good for situations where you may have just one answer to choose from, and to save you a keystroke of hitting, for example, with American cheese and then OK. If you use automatic OK, then as soon as they choose the American cheese, then it will automatically OK for them and save a keystroke and move on to the next question. Sort alphabetically. It will take all of the answers that you've applied within here and sort them alphabetically. Or you can rearrange them using the arrow buttons. Should you wish to program in additional ones right from here, you select on Add Answer, and then from here you choose either an existing one or you can choose New Item. Choosing New Item will then bring up the product setup screen, and from here you can program in the item that you want to apply. It will then show up within here, and on this you can then select OK, and it will be added to the list. One more thing I should point out is that you can also program combos in here as well. The way to do a combo is to match up the number of items that you select on the left-hand side, the number of answers, with the number of choices the user may select, and the minimum number of answers the user may select. So for example, if this was a hamburger combo, where you have a hamburger and a drink and French fries, you would have all three of those items as the answers. And over here, you would have number of choices would be 3, minimum number of choices would be 3. It wouldn't hurt to have automatic OK in there as well. What will happen is that when this is applied to, let's say, like combo number 1, for example, so you have combo number 1 is priced to whatever it is, and you have this force question added to it, then it will automatically order the burger, the fries, and the drink.